Girls, you're not gonna like this. In our survey about sex, we asked men what first attracts them to a woman. Top comes your body. 5 out of 10 men go for that first. Only 1 in 10 fancies you for your brains. Fellas, you're not gonna like this either. Only 1 woman in 10 first fancies you for your brains and all. Tonight, we're going to leave the bedroom and explore the mysteries of sexual attraction. Being in bed with someone you care for is one of life's great pleasures, but finding the right partner for this kind of activity can be tricky. How do we get to this? From this, that first lingering look. In this programme, we're going to see just what it is that sparks off sexual attraction. One thing's for sure, we're not as in control as we'd like to think. I'm a girl on a mission, a fact-finding mission, at the Hollywood nightclub in Romford, Essex. The idea is to see some sexual attraction in action, and there's plenty of action in this place. What we're aiming to find out is just what goes on inside our bodies when we see someone we fancy. What physically happens when there's an explosion of lust, yeah. You see, we've got an evil turn of mind on this show. So instead of just taking people's word for it about when they find someone attractive, we've decided to carry out a bit of an experiment. We're wiring up 6 guinea pigs. We're going to measure the heartbeat and their skin's chemical reaction to find out the truth about who fancies who and what happens when they get turned on.
Do you think you'll cop off tonight?
Definitely. I ain't gonna get nowhere tonight, basically, with anyone sort of wired out, looking at me with all my head sticking out everywhere.
Is this club a good club to cop off in?
Definitely, definitely. No problems at all.
Do you have a bit of competition here, or are you the man of the moment?
No, there's plenty of competition about. You've just got to use your wits to make sure you're ahead of the rest.
How do you go about it?
Just look for the ideal man, go and dance with him.
How does it start, though, when you find this ideal man?
Eye contact, definitely.
It starts with the eyes. What other parts of the body do you think it affects?
Everything, on me anyway. My knees turn to jelly and I start shaking.
It's different. It depends on the type of girl you're attracted to. To start with, like, what you do is just give the girl the eye, yeah? See what the comeback is off that, the feedback.
Over the next few hours, sexual attraction will sledgehammer its way through the heaving dancers. Later, we'll check out their chemicals. There's no telling who'll fancy who. Sexual attraction throws up some odd couples.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
You're back again?
Yes.
Yeah, I like a man who comes back again. I saw you last time. In non-fiction.
Yes.
Yeah, I like a man in non-fiction.
W to Z. I read a lot of Polish authors.
Oh, do you speak Polish, then?
Unfortunately, not.
Oh, I like a man who doesn't speak Polish. Do you mind if I sit down?
No.
That's a lovely anorak you've got there. Yeah, is it Dacron?
It is, actually. Showerproof.
Yeah, it's lovely. Makes you look really, you know, manly. Yeah, like one of those models in Millet's window with the check shirts and walking boots.
Well, that's a lovely,
Frock. Yeah, it's a frock. Yeah, it's got a zip at the back and a little hook and eye at the top. So you've got to be careful not to rip it. Yeah, but it's quite easy, really. I finish soon.
Do you?
Work. I finish work. Cool like a murderer, Fanta. Thirsty. But I expect you're busy. With your girlfriend.
I haven't got a girlfriend currently, as it happens.
Oh, so will you take me out then? Oh, you've got to. You know, you're the most attractive man I've ever seen. That hair, those glasses, that anorak. You know I can give you things you've never dreamed of. Your own cubicle, permission to mutter. First crack at the new science journal.
No, look.
I love you.
No, look, must be off. Oh, my bus.
I want to have your son. I was going to call him Gdansk. After the shipyard.
For the past week, a team of scientists have analysed the data from our guinea pigs. Dr. Glenn Wilson here is going to explain the eruptions that took place inside their bodies.
This is the heart rate record of Cherise, and this peak here corresponds to the point that we're looking at on the screen now, in which she's engaged in a bit of erotic dancing, which she clearly finds rather exciting.
The second measurement we looked at was skin conductance. That's the amount of chemicals and moisture released by the skin when you're aroused.
We can see Samantha engaged in a bit of intimate behaviour here, and there's a very striking increase in her arousal as measured by the skin conductance measure. You can see this here. In fact, she's virtually fallen off the scale. So there's
on the couch.
certainly something going on there. This is the heart rate record of Glenn, getting into the early hours of the morning here, so he's very highly aroused for a man who would normally be going into his sleep cycle. This is the heart rate record for Hayley as she's engaged in various exercises. And further on here we have the point where she's engaged in some particularly deep kissing. Back here is a peak where she was engaged in a little erotic dancing. It's interesting that the point where she's kissing shows a heart rate that is actually higher than the point where she was actively dancing.
So the real McCoy turned her on in the end.
That's right. The sexual arousal when she was sitting comfortably with her partner was greater than when she was physically active. I think that's the interesting thing about that. Shows that your emotions can override physical activity in terms of what it will do to your heart.
So increased heartbeat and skin conductance are vital parts of the mating game. They help your body send out the signals that you're aroused, which in turn attracts the person you're with. Another giveaway is body language.
Look at that. Gorgeous. Magnificent. They all love me, you know. They do. No, they don't. No, they do. They all love me. They adore me. I could go out of order if I wanted.
Hello, darlings. I don't reckon they fancy you at all.
No? Why'd you say that, then?
It's their body language. It's always a giveaway, that.
Yeah. I think you may be right.
The signals most of us give out may not be quite so obvious, and yet those signals form a language which can be read quite easily if you know what to look for. There's a dinner party going on here with 10 unattached, gorgeous young people who are all meeting up for the first time. Now, they think we're here filming general shots for our series, but what we're really doing is spying on the way their bodies betray their innermost desires. Let's play I Spy.
It's incredible, isn't it, the way we speak to each other without words?
Yeah. Well, 70% of our communication is just in what we see, and another, whatever it is, 7% is the words we use, and the rest is voice tone. So only 7% is the words.
Now, what's she doing there with a finger to her mouth?
Now, that's a very typical Heather gesture. It could be that she's not saying something. It could be that she's simply comforting herself. She's talking to Chris again. And look how open her gesture is. I mean, hands not up to face, hands down on lap, leaving her whole body open, very accepting, very warm. Showing she's interested, very much turned towards him. I've noticed before, if he's not really interested, his eyes don't crinkle, but his eyes are crinkling underneath. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Satirising, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and so are the eyebrows. The eyebrow flash is what we call it when you're really interested in something. You open your eyes wide and the eyebrows go up. Lots of eyebrow flashes there.
Doing the Dennis Healy on it, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, now here's Emma.
Here's the belle of the ball.
Here's the belle of the ball. A little bit of preening back with the hair. And there's the wine glass. Good one, this. She hasn't actually done it, but you could actually do the wine glass, let the eyes meet over the wine glass, frame the eyes.
Good prop.
Good prop. Now what I see at the back of the table is Neil and Colleen actually moving a bit closer, talking to each other. And look at the way they're matching, each with one hand up and the other hand down. Matching body posture, rapport. And leaning in, that's really close for Neil to be leaning into somebody. And Colleen's really at ease with it, she's not pulling away. Of course, different people have different comfort zones. You can get quite close to some people and they're quite happy with it. Whereas get close to somebody else and they shoot back across the room.
Yeah, like you've invaded the space.
Absolutely. And their shoulders are hunched in exactly the same way. My bet is if you could get close enough, you'd find they were breathing at the same rate. They look very, very close. People do. People breathe and their heartbeats go at the same rate. Oh, Emma's annoyed about something.
How could you tell that?
Short, sharp puff at the cigarette, and, oh, the hair flouncing and tight mouth, talking very sharply.
He doesn't seem to be aware that she's annoyed, though.
I don't think he is. Well, maybe a little bit. He's looking a little bit apologetic, putting his hand out in an appeasing gesture. And there's definitely a swallow there. He looks a little bit nervous, so maybe he is beginning to be aware of it.
Do you think they've blown it then, these two?
Oh, yes. She isn't looking happy at all. Downcast eyes, and what we call an incongruent nod, one that isn't really meant.
Is it just like filling in the gaps?
Yeah, filling in the gaps, or, well, I better nod because it's polite, but look what my mouth's saying. Yeah, look at that.
She's chewing her tongue, isn't she?
She's chewing her tongue, she's biting her lip, what she really wants to say.
You're doing my head in.
And now her hands come across her mouth just to stop her saying it.
Oh, let it out. Go on.
Come on, girl, say it.
Oh, it's a shame. I thought we'd be going to the wedding. She's upset.
Oh, Emma.
Girl, what's he done to you?
Oh, no, what's going on? Oh. Heather,
Oh, there's a
look
bit
at Heather's eyes.
Necking going on there. She almost kissed him then.
She did, yeah. Leaning right forward, taking a cigarette.
Blow it down his ear, girl.
And her face has gone all soft. I don't know if you can see it in her eyes. There's a crinkle under her eyes, which shows it's all genuine. Heather's preening, hair back behind her ears.
To preen, the message is to the other person, isn't it, as well?
Oh, yeah.
That you're getting ready for them.
Yes, the message is, I care for you enough to make myself look good for you and to show myself off to you.
I wonder if she gets him in the sack in the end.
We'll have to see.
So by the time dinner's over, you can suss out who you might be sharing breakfast with one day. If you read all the signs right, you'll know the difference between red, amber and green. But there are other ways of sifting through potential partners.
You must be Derek.
Yes. You must be Angela.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this the first time you've done this?
No, I've been out with lots of girls.
Oh, no, I meant use a computer dating agency.
Oh, yes. Yes, I find it very hard to meet girls with the same interests as me. These computers are supposed to match you up with similar partners, aren't they?
Yes. Well, I thought we could go for a drink.
Oh, I don't drink.
Oh, well, how about a cup of coffee then?
Yeah, OK. Except I'll have a hot chocolate. I don't like caffeine.
So, did you put down that you like sport?
No, I can't stand it. Did you tick off country walks?
No, I get terrible hay fever. What about music, then? What do you like?
Oh, classical. I prefer the romantics. Mahler, Chopin, Schubert.
So, you don't like thrash metal bands, then?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
But we don't seem to have a lot in common, do we?
No, I think you're right. Have you got your questionnaire? We can find out which interests we do share.
No.
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 Well, the computer's obviously made a mistake. We've got absolutely completely different tastes.
Yeah. Hold on. We missed the section on sexual preferences.
Casper's Wine Bar here is a favourite haunt of London singles. And it must be said, London's married, but my wife doesn't understand me. But the clever thing about this place, you just ring up anyone you fancy sitting at another table. How far are you prepared to go on a first date?
You ask a guy how far he's prepared to go on the first date. You find me a guy who wasn't prepared to go all the way, and I'd be very surprised.
Snog.
Yeah. And take it no further than that?
I'm up for a good snog, and I think you can do no better than that on a first date.
It depends. If you're with someone who you feel... Depends what that sort of person is. If you think that, you know, being respectful, being mature, sensible, that sort of thing, then, you know, you just give them a kiss on the first night.
But if a woman was prepared to drop her drawers, would you?
Never said one to say no.
No?
No, never say no.
What do men expect of you on the first date?
What do men expect of me? Oh, they expect me to be witty, charming and nice.
Do they expect you to drop your drawers, though?
Oh, well, I hope not, because I often don't.
How often do you get to go with a woman and make love to them on a first date?
I would like to say very often, but it's not true. Very rarely nowadays.
In the survey carried out for this programme, we asked people what they like to do on the first date. 3 times as many men as women said they like hot, rampant lovemaking. Oh yeah, but less than half of them get it. Aww.
I see Lord Fortinbras is escorting Mrs. Thackeray. I'll wager there'll be a smile on his face before dawn. Is it not odd that a woman so popular with a gentleman should be possessed of such a plain countenance? I fear her popularity has little to do with fairness of face. The Duchess of Malmsey calculated she'd had at least 18 affairs occur.
19? If you count the Duke of Malmsey.
Poor, wretched woman.
Oh, I would shed no tears of pity on Mrs. Thackeray.
But who would want such a woman after 19 lovers?
By the looks of it, everyone.
They say she uses a sheep's bladder to prevent conception and avoid the pox.
Then we must fear for the survival of our woolly friends. That woman could decimate the South Downs single-handedly.
Look away. There's Mr. de Courcy. I'm all of a tremble. I know he is going to ask me to dance. Oh, my heart is beating so fast.
Madam, I wonder if you would do me the honor of permitting me this next gavotte.
Why, Mrs. Thackeray, it is indeed a pleasure to see you again.
I see your friend, Miss Frensham, is dancing with Mr. de Courcy. I'll wager there'll be a smile on his face before the dawn.
Is it not odd that a woman so popular with a gentleman should be possessed of such a plain countenance?
I fear her popularity has little to do with fairness of face.
The Duchess of Malmsey calculated that she'd had at least 18 affairs occur.
19 if you count the Duke of Malmsey.
House plonk is all good and well, but if you don't want to end up with a head like a banana, you choose your wine with care. Which vineyard was it from? Who trod the grapes? And has it been pulled? Yeah, these days, before you sleep with someone, it's essential to know about the sexual history. But in our survey, only 1 in 4 told us they ask about it. There's about 200 people in this room. If they were a true sample of the population, 29 of the people here would have slept with at least 4 different partners in the last couple of years. 4 people would have injected drugs, and 8 of the men here would be bisexual. All these factors are associated with the higher risk of carrying the HIV virus. Would you ever ask anything about a woman's sexual history?
Yeah.
How'd you put it, Dave?
If you think that sex is on the cards, you'd say something like, shall we use protection?
Not really, no. I prefer to find it out, really, as I go along, you know.
I found out if they slept with many guys.
Can you tell me what you ask a man before you go out with him on a first date?
Well, I ask him if he's got any money first.
And then what comes second?
If he's got a car.
Yes.
Yeah. If he's got a house. Well, I mean, you know, you've got to ask some relevant questions these days, haven't you? You know, sexual history, where have you been, are you safe? And, you know, are you right on enough to do the right thing when it counts?
You can never be absolutely sure of anyone's sexual history. Remember, using a condom helps to protect you against AIDS, not to mention pregnancy. So your eyes meet and trigger a chain reaction that may lead to the bedroom. You can't control your subconscious responses, but you don't have to follow them blindly. Your heart says hot, but your head can always say not. So you've read the body language, your chemicals have bonded, and you've found the partner of your dreams. What next? You need the Good Sex Guide to Sexual Etiquette. See you next week.